Step one, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Hitting all the wrong buttons. All right, let's try that all over again. It's been a rough start. I've been feeling sick. So, woke up Saturday and it's just been a rough roller coaster ride all weekend. It was hitting all the wrong buttons this morning, but I'm glad you all showed up. Uh, Welcome to Good Morning Crypto, where we turn your early hours in the morning into your edge of financial freedom. I've got a few headlines. One of them is going to be on some of that ETF sell-off that we saw from last week. And the other headline is from the European Central Bank and their thoughts on Trump trying to push crypto. So let's dive on in, get you prepped for some success today. It's going to be a short show. I don't think my voice can do a whole lot more than 30 minutes today. So let's dive on in, get you prepped for some success with that stock heat map. We've got Apple sitting up 1.82% from last week, and the pre-market looking quite neutral, just down 0.3% right now. We've got Nvidia sitting up 5.27% from last week, and the pre-market looking quite positive, up 0.83 in the pre-market so far. We'll kind of have to see how today's data drop affects that price. We got Berkshire Hathaway up at 2.05 and the pre-market looking quite neutral, down 0.08%. We've got Amazon sitting up at 2.09% and in the pre-market also continuing that buying pressure, up 0.3. We've got Eli Lilly sitting in that neutral range for the morning. Did close at 1.48% to the upside last week, looking up 0.13. We got ExxonMobil up 2.97 from its close, and the pre-market looking quite neutral as well, up 0.09. We've got Tesla sitting up 3.86 in the pre-market, looking to the downside just a bit, down 0.69. We do have P&G, which closed in that neutral range, down 0.37, and the pre-market continuing to look in that neutral range, slightly down 0.1%. Got Microsoft sitting up 2.58, and the pre-market looking down 0.33. We got Google up 1.75%, and the pre-market looking down 0.14. And we've got Meta sitting in that neutral range for the pre-market this morning, closed 2.87 to the upside. Let's hop over to the crypto side of things. Top 25 looking like a bit of a mixed bag on that daily. Got Bitcoin sitting down 0.1. We've got Ethereum up 0.5. We've got XRP up down 0.4%. We've got BNB up 6.3%. We've got Solana down 2.6. We've got Cardano is sitting in that neutral range, down 0.1. We've got Doge sitting up a 1.3. We've got Tron sitting down 0.3 to wrap out that top 10. We do have the fear and greeds sitting to the downside. Stock market sitting in 21 and extreme fear still. Crypto market down just a little bit over the weekend, back up 2 points from Sunday in that 32 and fear. So definitely looking like we're still staying in that fearful range as we stay under some key levels around that $85,000, 200 that I had been talking about last week. That's that next real area I'm looking at. We'll kind of have to see where the hot spots are on this heat map for the higher term time frames. We do have that shorter term time frame sitting at 81,700, almost 800 there for the hot spot to the bottom side. We've got a very brief hot spot to the top side at 84,500, sitting right below a key area. We did end up closing a small CME gap, which was right around that 85,200 mark, which you see is the beginning of the hotspot to the top side on that 3-day. So if we do see some of that data from today being overwhelmingly positive, we might make that push to the upside, grab out that 85,200 all over again, and see if we can finally turn it into some support there. You do have the 2-week looking quite bare to the bottom side, and looking all to the top side for that liquidity. It is still in that same 85-200 range, and there's not really anything overwhelmingly hot above that besides the 87-130. We'll kind of draw out some of those levels on that Bitcoin chart here in a second, but we will see what today's data is bringing our way. For the beginning of the day, we do have at 8:30 Eastern Time a bunch of retail sales data. We will also be getting the New York State Manufacturing Index, looking for a big slow up on the forecast from the from 5.7 previously. So a big slowdown on manufacturing retail sales, excluding auto month over month, looking for a bit of an increase. So a mixed bag of data for the morning. We will kind of have to see how all of this retail sales comes out. Might get that slight push to the upside and that grab of liquidity that was sitting at that 85-200 level. Let's pull up that Bitcoin chart and say good morning to the chat. I see Crypto Billy in the chat. Good morning to you. We've got Jay Violet and Lasers as well. Good morning. Arsan246, good morning. We got Jay Quick Smoker, evening from Australia. Good evening to you, sir. Hope you had a great day. Got Crypto Billy saying, you passed the test, BC. Billy Goat Tales morning motivational video. I had not gotten a chance to watch your morning motivational video. I slept in, trying to get as much sleep as I could. Woke up, made some coffee, and then set up the stream, and then got ready for my work day as soon as I finished the show. So it's been a very, very fast-paced morning for me. I will check it out after the show. Go ahead and drop that link in the chat for everyone, though. That's normally how I start my days. So we've got username in the chat as well. Good morning to you. Hope you're having a great day. Let's hop into this Bitcoin chart. We do have that daily chart looking like a continued sell-off on that money flow. You do have us sitting on some curvature here on the prime oscillator as we are in the green, looking for some of this shorter term time money flow to really bleed over into the high term time frames. You can see it's just been a continued sell off on this money flow, and that Bitcoin ETF article will really touch on that continued sell off. You do see the MACD at a very indecisive point where it's starting to get that bit of a sideways movement as we broke to the top side here, looking quite like that prime oscillator, getting that continued rollover as our selling volume continues to hold steady on this higher term time frame. Let's hop into that 4-hour, kind of see what we're looking at for the next few days here. You do have a strong area of resistance that I've talked about since last week, and that's at 85-200 mark. This is going to be the area that we continue to do some battle with until you have very strong money flow to really flip us back into that support. You do have the 382 right above that, which will be that next little battle area that we do on price action, and that's that 87,000 800 mark, which is right where that other top side liquidity was sitting. So if you do make that grab with some nice momentum, could grab that other area of top side liquidity before we really clear out some of that bottom side liquidity. You have the 4-hour chart looking quite indecisive on the prime oscillator. It's moving quite sideways here, but you do see your money flow looking to continue to roll over here. Got nice buying volume here, so it could be a very easy switch back up to the top side to find that rejection at liquidity at 85 to 50. Looking for that MACD to continue its rollover and break to the bottom side of our zero line here. You do have that 1 hour looking like it's going to continue to see that sell-off as our prime oscillator has went straight from green back to red as it gets that curvature. You do have nice buying volume here, but it does look like it's slowing up just a bit. MACD looking to cross that zero line, already getting that curvature that we were continuing to see on that 4 hour, looking like you might see a bit of a retest of our old CME gap here, which was that top side at 81,200. You've got the 50% fib sitting right at that same area, so a strong area to potentially look for a bounce. Let's zoom that on into the 15-minute and see what the morning is bringing our way. We do have that continued rollover on your MACD as it is broken below our indicator line once again. Looking at those first red candles here on the oscillator, and MACD looking to cross the zero line with our indicator line as well, potentially looking at these equal highs to the top side for a brief bounce up before we really reject a little bit lower to that CME gap there. All right, let's hop into some of these news articles I had pulled up over the weekend. First one I wanted to go over was the European Central Bank's thoughts on Trump pushing crypto. I think it's positive because it's why I got into crypto to begin with. But ECB's Villeroy, Trump's encouraging crypto is sowing the seeds of future upheavals. The European Central Bank Governing Council member Francis Villeroy de Gaël, I have no idea, probably butchered that, but oh well, spoke over the weekend in an interview with the French weekly La Tribune Dimanche. By encouraging crypto assets and non-bank finance, the American administration is sowing the seeds of future upheavals. Villeroy said the European supervision was better secured and said there was no risk of a banking crisis in the bloc. Oh dear, no risk of a banking crisis in the bloc. I don't see one as imminent, but to say no risk seems rather overconfident. I see this as quite a positive. I originally got into crypto to debank myself. So whereas a lot of crypto people will see debanking as a positive, and you see that be a bit of a concern to politicians, not just in the U.S., the European Central Bank, but also in the American side of things. They normally aren't threatened by this whole debanking or other things that you see as a crypto positive that really remove them from the system. They're a little bit threatened by crypto, and I see that as a bit of a positive. We do have Bitcoin spot ETF exodus continues. 900 million outflows extend losing streak. Following the last trading window, U.S. Bitcoin spot ETFs have recorded another week of overwhelming net outflows, with investors pulling $900 million from the market. This development marks the fifth consecutive week of redemption, indicating weak market confidence among institutional investors of the premier cryptocurrency. Bitcoin institutional investors withdraw for the fifth straight week. After a strong start to the year, which saw the Bitcoin ETFs attract over $5 billion in investments, initial investors had shown much caution in the recent weeks, indicated by a massive withdrawals. According to the data from Farside Investors, the Bitcoin spot ETFs registered 921.4 in net outflows during the past week, culminating in an estimated total of $5.4 billion in the last 5 weeks. The majority of withdrawals from the last week were pulled from BlackRock's, which recorded 338.1 million in net outflows. Fidelity's FBTC followed closely with investors, with the fund's redemptions outpacing deposits by 3.7.4. Other Bitcoin ETFs such as RKB, Invesco BTC, and Templeton's EasyBC, Wisdom Tree's BTC W, and Grayscale's GBTC all saw moderate net outflows between 33 and 881 million. This is kind of rough to read through when you're not feeling awesome. But as you can kind of see there, it looks like all of these ETFs are on a continued sell-off streak. I do think they are looking for that bottom side, the same as the rest of us, before you might see that switch back over to bullishness. I do think in the macro there is one more push up, and we'll kind of have to see if we do a continuation of trend from last cycle where we make a second higher top, or if we do see a lower high on the second top there. All right, we've got all set in the chat. Good morning to you. Hope you're having a great morning so far. Got Al Jr. saying good morning, everyone. Good morning to you, Al Jr. And Lasers in the chat as well. Good morning to you as well. Let's hop into some of these TradFi assets. I don't really have a whole lot of time to do some alt requests today, especially since it is a shorter show. So let's take a look at gold. I know we've been talking quite a bit about gold here at the Piper Academy and the $3,000 price target. And if you look here this morning, gold has once again pushed up to that $3,000 price level, looking to potentially turn it into some support here. We did get briefly above that last week before market close, and then we really dropped back down to the bottom side. Looking for it to flip back into some support this time. You do have a strong area above that to the top. If we do get continued strong money flow coming in here, like you're seeing on the 1 hour, and that's that 3,038 level. That is that 1618 on our fib extension that we've had drawn out for quite a while. Let's hop into that shorter term time frame and see what the morning is bringing our way with that 15-minute chart. You do see our money flow looking quite strong here as it continues to come in, as gold has broke above that $3,000 level. MACD looking like it's going to continue up quite a bit here. It is creating a bit of a gap from that indicator line, but your prime oscillator is sitting at that red, looking for that brief cool down on our prime oscillator before we really continue that move to the upside, especially with how bullish that 1 hour was looking there. Let's hop over to the Dixie. I've been talking about the Dixie for the past few weeks over intensively, as we do watch that continued sell off on the dollar. We did break below all of our key levels with some quick movements to the downside. You can see we talked about holding that 106 level, and that 105.45, which were key bouncing areas from back here. Looking now for that 102.93 to see if we can hold for some support, but your 4 hour does look like it's going to continue to see some sell off here, as our MACD and indicator line are both pointing to the downside. Your prime oscillator already red here, and your MACD looking to cross that indicator line below our zero line and continue with some good downside here on the 4-hour. You do have a few areas below that you could potentially look for the dollar to hold, and this is 116. You do have a bit of some negative space if we drop below that, and that would be quite an unsettling thing to, not really unsettling, but quite a bearish thing to see on gold. Looking at that one day, you do see all of the negative space down here, and this would be that next area we would look at filling below that. Really looking all the way back down to 96 if we are really unable to maintain this area above us. One day does look like you might see a brief little bounce once we get down to some of these lower levels, but not really seeing any positive money flow on those shorter term time frames that could really cause that massive daily switch, as you have seen us get several reversal signals back to back to back on that daily, but continue with the downside on the dollar. All right, I had been taking a look at some of these altcoins this weekend, and I have been noticing a trend here. You do have a lot of these altcoins sitting at bear market prices, and I was looking at near this weekend one of my favorite projects, and it's broken below all of the levels that I've really wanted to see here. You do see there is the potential, if we do see a bit of an alt season after Bitcoin does another bit of a push off, to see that $2.16 be a strong bottom here. It is the equal highs from over at the beginning of the range, which we turned into some support before we really got that first initial pump up this bull run. You do see this quite similarly across most of your alt markets. We're getting back to bear prices, and as Bitcoin does hold up quite nicely, we are looking for that next push up, and a push up from bear market prices. I don't think all altcoins get that run though, as the market is quite oversaturated. Looking for near to hold that 214 level on a shorter term time frame, and that's kind of what we're seeing here on some of that 1 hour, and that 4-hour was looking a continued bearish. So another little retest of that 214. Let me zoom that on in. There we go. That 1 hour looking like you seeing a bit of a pushback to the upside. Get back to that platinum pocket at 263. This is an area where you might see some resistance though, especially with how that 4-hour and 1 hour were looking. You do have a bit of some curvature here on the prime oscillator. It is green. Your volume's just starting to pick up here as some buying volume, but looking for that resistance where we see a bunch of the selling pressure above that 262. That's where I'd look for that 214 to be retested all over again. Might be a strong bouncing point, which you could continue to see money flow in from 15-minute and the morning. It's looking like it's trying to continue that retest of our platinum pocket there and 263. All right, let's hop over and take a look at another one of my favorites that I've been looking at this weekend. I haven't really been holding it for a while. I sold off back when I unstaked at the beginning of the year. As soon as that was all unstaked, I sold off most of my objective and was looking for some lower entries as a potential if we do see that nice push to the upside and see our alt market. I do think some of these bigger projects will get that push up, and I liked how explosive Injective was last cycle. We are sitting back at some bear market prices that I had bought in at. So looking to see if we can maintain some of the support back at that $10 level. That is that first little area. I am started buying in at the second level. I really started buying in at. I started buying back down here at that $3 mark last time, and that'd be that level I would kind of look for if we do see some continued sell off in our alt markets. That daily getting that curvature back on the prime oscillator. It is sitting green though, so looking for that continuation to the upside there. You do have your True 7, which is heading back to the upside as well here on that daily chart. So looking for some strong money flow to really come in from the shorter term time frame to push things back more bullish, kind of like some of the other things we've looked at for the day. You have that 4 hour and the 1 hour looking like you're at a bit of an indecisive point. Your MACD is breaking that zero line all over again, but doing it with some sideways movement there. As you can kind of see, it is quite tight on that zero line, only breaking very briefly below it and looking to kind of curve back over. See if you can maintain that. Your indicator line getting some curvature back to the top side. So if you can see some money flow really coming in, like we had talked about on some other assets as well, I would look back up to the top side, and that first little area being that $12.50 where we saw some strong bounces. That is a shorter term time frame one. Let me get that drawn out. I don't know why TradingView on my tablet will like have some of the drawings that I do, and then when I pull it up on my computer, sometimes it doesn't show there. Like CME gaps don't show up on my tablet. Like I did have that level drawn out, and so that 1254 is going to be that first short-term area I would look for some support there. If you are unable to maintain that, that would be that first little rejection area I'd look at. 1 hour looking like you might see a little continuation to the upside, looking for some bouncing here at $9.86 to really turn that into some support. That's that first area I've drawn out, and that was a bear market level of resistance from way back there. Let's zoom that on in to the 15-minute, see what the morning is bringing our way. And that's where I'd really look at that bouncing. On the top side, you do see a bit of some curvature here on your prime oscillator, but your volume is looking quite nice. True 7 is green here, and your MACD and your indicator line have been getting some nice movement to the upside. MACD looking like it might need to cool off just a little bit as we continue to push off of the indicator line there. Looking for a nice little retest of that area to the bottom side before we really continue that push back up to above that psychological level of $10, and that's that first little area I'd look for some support there. All right, it's 6:28. I've got to get ready to head out the door here, so thank you for everyone that tuned in. Muted myself. There we go. Sorry about that. Hitting all the wrong buttons this morning. So I appreciate every single one of you that tuned in today. We do have the morning market report at 10 a.m. Go ahead and tune into that. Piper will break down all of that data I teased for the morning. We've got the Trade Academy at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure to tune into that. Trade Intuition does a great job at teaching TA, looking through charts together, really giving the breakdown of how and why he's looking at the things he's looking for. We've got that Markets After Dark as well with Lunar Beaches Crypto at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure to tune into that one. Hit that like button. If you haven't checked out that morning motivational video, scroll up in the chat just a bit. Crypto Billy dropped that. I'm sure someone is getting ready to drop that all over again as well in the chats there. So thank you for everyone tuned in. Hopefully tomorrow I'm feeling 100 and we can do that full hour show for you. Other than that, make sure to trade safe. You might see a bit of some volatility, and I'll see y'all over at the Alexo Crypto Chats here in about 30 minutes. So y'all have a great day.